Morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to White Collar, Blue Collar, What is New Collar? A panel discussion with a few experts in this area and a couple of our apprentices as well. So we will begin with a quick round of introductions. I'd like to go first here, Sudharsana Srinivasan. I'm a program manager with IBMZ Influencer team, and I lead the apprenticeship program. A quick around the virtual table here. So Meredith.
Hi, Meredith Stowell. I lead our IBMZ ecosystem group, and that incorporates our developer outreach as well as various talent and skill programs to help build that talent pipeline for Z, as well as ISV applications, open applications, and SI relationships on the platform.
Excellent. We look forward to hearing from you, Meredith. Theresa.
Hey, thanks so much for having me. I'm Theresa Hans, and I'm a Z Advocate Program Specialist, so I work with our New to Z community.
Excellent. Look forward to hearing more about that, Theresa. Nathan and Clayton.
Yeah, I'm Nathan. I'm currently a mainframe apprentice working for the Dallas ISV team.
Excellent. Thank you. Clayton?
I am Clayton Slaughter. I'm a former apprentice. I'm now working as a Linux and ZVM system programmer for the IBM Dallas team.
Awesome. Like I said, I am really excited here to be able to moderate this panel discussion with such experts talking about white collar, blue collar. These are terms we've known about for a while, have been using it for decades. What this is really a traditional entry into professional jobs through college graduates and internships, things like that. So then the question is, what is this new term, new collar, right? New collar really, simply put, is a non-traditional way, a non-traditional pathway to technology jobs. So apprenticeships is, one such opportunity to gain skills, competency-based skilling up, right? And so Meredith, I'd like to come to you first here. And really, from your role as overseeing the client skills, what is this going to look like?
Great. Thanks so much, Sudharsana. So a lot of times when we're working with clients and with various employers in the Z area, one of the first things that we really need to talk about is how do we build that sustainable workforce for the future? Really identifying what is that talent strategy. And the first thing is to determine what are the types of recruits that we're going after for these skills and for these jobs. And typically in the past, it's really been around, hey, I want to go after early professionals, those individuals that are just graduating from a 4-year degree program, or I want to go after experienced professionals, those individuals that already have experience, maybe 5 to 10 years experience, or whatever it is that you're looking for from an experienced professional. But now there's this new category of apprentice and new collar, where it really is that non-traditional candidate. It could be individuals that have 2-year degree programs. It could be individuals who are looking to re-enter the workforce. It could be individuals who are looking to change their careers. It could be folks that just aren't really interested in taking an academic track, but they're very, very interested in the IT field. So from a skills program perspective, we have all types of programs and assistance to help facilitate each one of these, whether it's if you're going after an early professional, then how can you leverage some of the relationships and that we have with the academic initiative and university organizations around the world. But if you want to go after apprentices and new collar, we do have a new program that we're looking at for the US that really targets those apprentices and how can we create that easy button to get that non-traditional workforce going. Obviously, from there, you've got to go into training and being able to grow and retain. So we also have other programs around that. But we'll talk about the training a little bit as we get into the apprenticeship program.
That is excellent. So I do have a question. Oftentimes this comes up. So what is an apprenticeship?
So an apprenticeship is very different, if you will, from an internship. So many companies are very familiar with internships. An apprenticeship is truly a structured program, an earn as you learn program, where you hire an individual and then they go through a very structured training program to learn the competencies that are needed to then graduate from that program. These are associated with the Department of Labor as well as with state agencies that provide these nationally recognized credentials upon completion. And so you have defined training standards that the individuals go through. You have on-the-job training, and you've got mentorship, and you also have that formal training. So it really is focused in around training and building very specific skill set for those individuals to then be credentialed upon the completion of the program. And as they meet these different competencies, that's where you also get progressive increase within the wages and for those apprentices.
So I can see that this is, hugely beneficial, even from an employer point of view. So if you could just highlight some of those benefits, Meredith.
Absolutely. So there's been a number of studies around what are the benefits, particularly from an employer perspective, for apprenticeship programs, because apprenticeships truly are all around workforce development. It's typically focused on, as I mentioned before, going after a very diverse workforce, going after underrepresented populations, veterans, ensuring that we have that diverse background in our talent pipeline. And one of the key things that we're seeing from an employer perspective around apprenticeship programs is really retention. It instills that loyalty in employees. And in fact, you see that quote there that 94% of employees say that they would stay at a company longer if it invested in their career development. And that's what apprenticeships are all about. So not only are you benefiting as an employer from that loyalty and from that retention, but there's also quite a bit of funding that's available out there from a workforce development perspective. And more importantly, you're getting that very specific skilled workforce that you need to fill those talent gaps.
Thank you, Meredith. So it's great that there are all these benefits from an employer point of view. And we're lucky here today to have Nathan and Clayton with us to, give us that apprentice perspective as well. So Clayton, if I can come to you first and tell us a little about, the journey that brought you here and what it's been like being part of the apprenticeship program. I know you're a recent graduate, so would love to hear your story.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. So I started off looking for work in the IT industry without a degree, which is a difficult challenge. It's one of those fields where the employers are really looking for a lot of experience and or that equivalent college degree, and I had neither. So the apprenticeship was a great way to get into that field, and it's really the only path that I could find with my level of experience.
Hold that thought. Thank you, Clayton. I'll come back. I do have a question, but I'd love to hear from Nathan as well. So Nathan, I know you're a current apprentice. So tell us a little about, how you learned about it, what you think about it. You're in the process. So your thoughts, please.
Yeah, so I actually learned about the program through Clayton. He reached out to me after he had graduated and said, "Hey, they're trying this again. It's a new wave. Do you want to try out and see if you can get on board?" And I said, "Okay, sure." That's what we did, and I managed to get one of the slots. And my current experience with it has been great. I really enjoy it. I enjoy the structure of the program.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I've learned more about mainframing than I probably ever learned in my life. And this was an industry I didn't think I could even get involved with until after I had a 4-year degree. So I had dismissed it entirely. I didn't think there was a way to even get into it. Really and truly, with my educational background, I was kind of stuck to entry-level jobs.
That is an excellent point you make, Nathan, about how the apprenticeship program truly does benefit in this competency-based sort of skilling up that we touched upon earlier, right? So thank you for that. So I'm going to come back to you, Clayton, if I may. So what would you say is some of the things that you would look for, to stay on this role, or what are some of the key factors that are important to you in a job?
Well, one of the most important things for me is to do something that I both enjoy and something that challenges me. Um, IT or just technology in general, has always been a certain passion of mine. And so being able to work in a field where I do that for a living is really the big draw. I've worked in jobs in the past that I worked in one as a photographer, kind of doing IT for the photography company. And I actually stayed with them for a while just because I enjoyed the work so much, despite the fact that it was kind of a stagnating position. And by contrast, I worked for another company and was hired to do a technical role and was immediately switched out and made to do something else. And I left within 6 months on that one.
Mm-hmm. And we're glad to see that you're here. And so so you really enjoy the mainframe role that you're in as a sysadmin. Tell us a little
Yeah,
about
Linux is a personal hobby of mine, and so being able to work on that on the mainframe it is a wonderful role for me.
excellent. So Nathan, how about you? In terms of, do you resonate to those thoughts and feelings around what is critical or key components to a role that you would have?
I agree with Clayton on all those points. I think that those are really important for people to find satisfaction and fulfillment in the job they're in. And if you feel like you're just lacking, um, I feel like employers can't save their retention rates if employees just don't feel like they want to be in that job. It doesn't matter how much they're getting paid. It doesn't matter the kind of benefits you're offering them. If they're not liking the work, if they feel like there's no room to grow, if they feel like there's no challenge in the job that they have, they're gonna switch it out. They're gonna leave. They're gonna find someone else who might offer them those things that are missing.
Excellent. Thank you both so much for sharing your, personal experience and this and what is key and important to you both. So Meredith, if I can come back to you, how can clients participate in this apprenticeship program?
Great. Thanks so much, Sudharsana. So what we really wanted to do with the apprenticeship program is take all of the lessons learned that we've gone through from an IBM perspective and having apprentices in various roles, and then how can we easily make that available to employers all across the U.S. And how can we create that cohort, if you will, of new to Z individuals coming onto the platform, get them through the training, right, and have them work together as a community through that, which we've seen be very successful, which is why we typically are always hiring in pairs or more to ensure that there is that sense of belonging. They've got somebody that they can work with on the platform. So to do that, what we've been able to do is to partner with a third party, a nonprofit, who's going to actually help with the recruitment of the diverse talent pool. So whether it's individuals that are coming from underrepresented populations, also working with veterans. So for example, the Department of Labor has a new veteran program where they've got placement counselors at multiple bases all around the US for servicemen and women who are transitioning from military service into civilian life and helping them to place them into these types of apprenticeship programs. Also just working with the third party's ecosystem network to help recruit this diverse talent and this non-traditional talent. So employers need to identify the types of positions or the types of roles that they're interested in hiring, whether it's that sysadmin, sysprog, or whether it's the application developer, identify the locations where those individuals are going to be placed so that then this third party can work in those local areas to identify and recruit local talent. The next thing that happens is then these individuals, these candidates, go through a pre-apprenticeship program. This is about a 12-week program. It's all virtual, and it will take these individuals through training from introductory computer science, but also into specific ZOS topics as well. And the importance of this is not only are these individuals getting exposed to this technology, but they can determine, are they passionate about this technology? And so as Nathan and Clayton were talking about, that it's very important that individuals are passionate about what it is that they're working on. And so this gives them an exposure to this technology to determine, do they have an affinity for this technology? And from an employer perspective, it gives them the idea, or it gives them insight into, does the individual actually have aptitude for this type of technology? So once they complete that pre-apprenticeship program and they graduate, then they're available for hiring into the apprenticeship program by these employers. So the employers would then hire these pre-apprenticeship graduates for a one-year apprenticeship program. And during this apprenticeship program, they would gain the on-the-job training. So the employer would provide that on-the-job training, while the individuals are also getting formal training. And all of that formal training is administered by this third party, and ensuring, once again, it's also available all virtually, which is why we're able to do this across the US. And then upon completion of that apprenticeship program, they will earn the Department of Labor credential as well as the state agency credential for those individuals, and then be available have that skilled workforce that's available for those employers for long term. So it's really providing that easy button for employers to not only have a service that recruits, has a service that takes these candidates then through that pre-apprenticeship program to help to vet those candidates, and then to have the employer hire them as an apprentice, continue that wage step increase, provide the technical mentorship, provide the on-the-job training so that they can also get a better understanding of how that company actually implements their Z environment, and then they graduate and have that skilled workforce.
That is excellent. So I think that comes up to, so why or how would the clients participate in this program in terms of benefits that they will stand to gain, or what kind of commitment are we looking from them?
As I mentioned before, we really wanted to create this easy button. And so the benefits that the employers gain are, number one, the recruitment service with that, once again, real focus on diversity. Having those vetted candidates through that pre-apprenticeship program, once again, to determine, is there not only an affinity towards that technology, but an aptitude toward that technology. Over 300 hours for each one of these programs, for the application developer as well as for the sysadmin sysprog program, over 300 hours of training at no charge to the employer. Apprenticeship program administration, so not only will the third party be doing the recruiting, but they'll also administer all of the apprenticeship overhead, if you will, and administration of that apprenticeship program with the Department of Labor and with the state agencies, in addition to assigning success managers to the individual apprentices to help them ensure that they are successful in going through the program. And then they get the skilled IBM Z talent. So what do we need from the employers? Well, we need some commitment. We need them to commit to hiring a specific number of pre-apprentices for that one-year apprenticeship. So they need to identify the number of, whether it is which role. So is it a sysadmin, is it a sysprog, is it a mainframe application developer, and how many and what location. Then once they hire those individuals, assign a technical mentor, enable those apprentices to attend those virtual training programs, and provide those wage step increases. But that's it. And ideally, we want to start our first cohort in this fall, the first cohort of pre-apprentices going through the program this fall, and then being hired at the beginning of 2021.
That sounds exciting, Meredith. All the very best to the program. I'm going to turn to Theresa at this moment here to talk a little about the New to Z community. Theresa.
Yeah, sure. So Meredith actually touched on a really good point where she mentioned that we often encourage clients to hire in at least pairs. And the reasoning for that being that it helps these early professionals to already, have a community alongside them, and encourages them to enjoy what they're doing a little bit more when they have people with them who are in the same boat. But not everybody is that lucky that they get to start with others in the same way that they are. So we have the New to Z community, which brings together any early professional working on the mainframe for less than 10 years, and it helps them connect to others like them, maybe mentors, to workshops, and also gives them a platform to become leaders in this space. So again, like Meredith was mentioning, we want people who are excited about this technology and excited about their jobs. And as early professionals, the New to Z community is a place for them to not only find that excitement, but grow it as well. So we have many folks in our New to Z community who are now leaders back in their companies, or leaders on the New to Z community, helping to facilitate workshops, speaking at conferences, and even creating content. And it's a great community for everybody, especially apprentices who are starting on this technology, to continue to grow their career.
This is exciting. I could see how this is very, very valuable, right? To bring these folks, to the new to Z professional folks together and really feel a sense of belonging, right? And I think that is huge in terms of how successful one would be in and through their career. And I want to just take a moment here to thank every one of you, Meredith, Theresa, Clayton, and Nathan, for joining on this panel discussion about white collar, blue collar. What is new collar? So, a few thoughts to leave everyone with. If you'd like to start your IBM Z journey, check out ibm.biz/Z talent. The link also has the standards that Meredith touched upon, the ones for the sysadmin, sysprog, and the application developer on Z. Also, Theresa pointed out to me that Nathan and Clayton have recently had and more detailed, journey description, and we shared that video out on that link as well. So do check that out too. And if you missed the link to Theresa's New to Z community, the link again, ibm.biz/new to Z. If you have any questions at all about the apprenticeship program, the easy button program that Meredith talked about, please reach out to me, Sudharsana Srinivasan. My email is right here. I'd like to thank again everyone for being here on for this panel discussion, and have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you.